Today we'll be discussing the effects of ADHD in the brain and how it affects daily life. What is ADHD? Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, otherwise known as ADHD, is one of the most common disorders among children that affect behavior, development, and functioning. In fact, according to the CDC, there are about 11% of American children from ages 4 to 17 that have been diagnosed with ADHD as of 2011, with an estimated amount of 6.4 million American children. According to Chad, symptoms affect each person differently and may change as they get older. There are 3 different types of ADHD that may present. However, combined type is the most common. Inattentive symptoms would include having difficulties focusing, not seeming to listen, being easily distracted, having poor organizational skills, or being forgetful about completing tasks, while hyperactive and impulsive symptoms would include disruptive behavior in an inappropriate setting. Causes of ADHD are highly debated as the exact etiology is unknown. However, neurotransmitter deficits have been linked to genetic and environmental factors that may have an influence in the causation of a child being born with ADHD. Looking into the neuroscience behind neurotransmitters may help give us an idea of what deficits in the brain may contribute to ADHD traits. Neurotransmitters transfer chemicals across nervous pathway systems that relay messages to the brain. Any deficits in neurotransmitters would have major effects on mood, sleep, energy, memory, and cognition. 2 major neurotransmitters that may contribute to the neurobiology of ADHD are dopamine and norepinephrine. Dopamine helps control the brain's reward and pleasure center, which would affect behaviors commonly associated with ADHD symptoms that would impact motivation, memory, and movement regulation. Disruptions of messages being passed between neurons may contribute to the neurobiology of ADHD. In fact, a study was performed to determine if the brain's dopamine reward pathway was affected in ADHD patients. It had revealed that participants with ADHD had significantly lower dopamine receptor availability than ones in the control group. And as you can see here, these are the dopamine receptors. And so those with ADHD did not have as many of these, which would disrupt the connection between the 2 neurons. There are 4 functional regions of the brain that contain impaired neurotransmitter activity. These include the frontal cortex, the limbic system, the basal ganglia, and the reticular activating system. The frontal cortex of the brain controls high-level functions such as attention, executive function, and organization. Executive function refers to a wide range of central control processes in the brain that can activate, integrate, and manage other brain functions according to Chad organization. The limbic system regulates our emotions and attention. A deficiency in this region could result in feeling restless, inattentive, or become emotionally volatile. The basal ganglia receives information from all regions of the brain, then sends it to the correct location. A deficiency in the basal ganglia can cause inter-brain communication to short-circuit. This would result in inattention or impulsivity. The reticular activating system consists of neurons located in the brainstem. These mediate behavior and control activation. A deficiency in this area would cause inattention, impulsivity, and hyperactivity. These 4 regions all interact with one another, so a deficiency in one region could affect other regions that may result in ADHD symptoms. There are 2 types of treatment that are beneficial in treating ADHD symptoms, which include alternative treatment, used instead of medication, or a complementary treatment that is added to usual treatment to better help control symptoms. Those with ADHD may thrive with additional treatments that can range from behavior therapy, or school treatment plans, to something as simple as exercise, going outside, or creating a daily routine to help stay organized and on track, according to Understood.com. While both forms of treatment can be used with or without medication, medication can be more effective when combined with these other treatments, according to helpguide.org. ADHD during a pandemic has found that 31% of parents with students having ADHD had noted that remote learning was extremely challenging for those students. This results in increased lack of structure that can lead to feelings of boredom, isolation, and loneliness, making it more difficult to accomplish tasks. Thank you for watching. Here are some funny comics about what it's like to live with ADHD.